Good evening to you all, and a very warm welcome. Let us begin tonight's meeting with the singing of hymn number 39. Come, gracious Spirit, heavenly love, with light and comfort from above. Be thou our guardian, thou our guide, o'er every thought and step preside. Hymn number 39. The subject of tonight's readings, your spiritual foundation. I shall begin with readings from the Bible. Isaiah. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Look unto the rock which ye are hewn. For the Lord shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation. For a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and mine arm shall judge the people. The isles shall wait upon me, and on mine arm shall they trust. Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look, for my righteousness shall not be abolished. Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Awake as in the ancient days, in the generations of old. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return, and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness, and joy and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. I, the Lord thy God, that divided the sea, whose waves roared, the Lord of hosts is his name. And I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand, that I may plant the heavens, and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, Thou art my people. Psalms. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Job. There is a path which no fowl knoweth, and which the vulture's eye hath not seen. The lion's whelps have not trodden it, nor the fierce lion passed by it. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock, and overturneth the mountains by the roots. He cutteth out rivers among the rocks, and his eye seeth every precious thing. He bindeth the floods from overflowing, and the thing that is hid bringeth he forth to light. But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the place thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living. The depth saith, It is not in me, and the sea saith, It is not with me. It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. Whence then cometh wisdom? And where is the place of understanding? God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. If now thou hast understanding, hear this, hearken to the voice of my words. Look unto the heavens, and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than thou. For he that is perfect in knowledge is with thee. Behold, God is mighty, and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasure. Luke. And it came to pass in those days that Jesus went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and of them he chose 12, whom also he named apostles. And he came down with them, and stood in the plain, and the company of his disciples, and a great multitude of people out of all Judea and Jerusalem, and from the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him, and to be healed of their diseases, and they that were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and healed them all. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples, and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. For ye therefore be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over, shall men give unto your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete withal, it shall be measured to you again. Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my sayings, and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house, and digged deep, and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. John. It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not. For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were that believed not, and who should betray him. And he said, Therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me, except it were given unto him of my Father. From that time, many of his disciples went back, and walked no more with him. Then Jesus said unto the 12, Will ye also go away? Then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life, and we believe and are sure that thou art that Christ, the Son of the living God. Job. Behold, God exalteth by his power. Remember that thou magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it. Man may behold it afar off. Behold, God is great, and we know him. The Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind, and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measure thereof, if thou knowest, or who has stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. 1 John. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Beloved, now are we the sons of God. And correlative passages from the Christian Science textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, by Mary Baker Eddy. Divine science deals its chief blow at the supposed material foundations of life and intelligence. It dooms idolatry, a belief in other gods, other creators, and other creations must go down before Christian Science. It reveals the results of sin as shown in sickness and death. When will man pass through the open gate of Christian Science into the heaven of soul, into the heritage of his firstborn among men? Truth is indeed the way. Jesus established his church and maintained his mission on a spiritual foundation of Christ's healing. He taught his followers that his religion had a divine principle which would cast out error and heal both the sick and the sinning. He claimed no intelligence, action, nor life separate from God. The same power which heals sin heals also sickness. This is the beauty of holiness, that when truth heals the sick, it casts out evils. And when truth casts out the evil called disease, it heals the sick. Christianity, as Jesus taught it, was not a creed, nor a system of ceremonies, nor a special gift from a ritualistic Jehovah, but it was the demonstration of divine love, casting out error and healing the sick, not merely in the name of Christ or truth, but in demonstration of truth, as must be the case in the cycles of divine light. In Egypt, it was mind which saved the Israelites from belief in the plagues. In the wilderness, streams flowed from the rock, and manna fell from the sky. The Israelites looked upon the brazen serpent and straightway believed that they were healed of the poisonous stings of vipers. In national prosperity, miracles attended the success of the Hebrews, but when they departed from the true idea, their demoralization began. Even in captivity among foreign nations, the divine principle wrought wonders for the people of God, in the fiery furnace and in kings' palaces. Judaism was the antithesis of Christianity, because Judaism engendered the limited form of a national tribal religion. It was a finite and material system carried out in special theories concerning God, man, sanitary methods, and a religious cultus. That he made himself equal with God was one of the Jewish accusations against him, who planted Christianity on the foundation of spirit, who taught as he was inspired by the Father, and would recognize no life, intelligence, nor substance outside of God. Jesus was the highest human concept of the perfect man. He was inseparable from Christ, the Messiah, the divine idea of God, outside the flesh. This enabled Jesus to demonstrate his control over matter. Angels announced to the wise men of old this dual appearing, and angels whispered it through faith to the hungering heart in every age. Sickness is part of the error which truth casts out. Error will never expel error. Christian Science is the law of truth which heals the sick on the basis of the one mind, or God. Because the science of mind seems to bring into dishonor the ordinary scientific schools which wrestle with material observations alone, this science has met with opposition. But if any system honors God, it ought to receive aid, not opposition, from all thinking persons. The Christian science does honor God as no other theory honors him, and it does this in the way of his appointing, by doing many wonderful works through the divine name and nature. One must fulfill one's mission without timidity or dissimulation, for to be well done, the work must be done unselfishly. Christianity will never be based on a divine principle and so found to be unerring until its absolute science is reached. When this is accomplished, neither pride, prejudice, bigotry, nor envy can wash away its foundation, for it is built upon the rock, Christ. Remember Jesus, who nearly 19 centuries ago demonstrated the power of spirit and said, "He that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also." And who also said, "But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation," said Paul. The belief that spirit is finite as well as infinite has darkened all history. In Christian Science, spirit, as a proper noun, is the name of the Supreme Being. It means quantity and quality and applies exclusively to God. The modifying derivatives of the word spirit refers only to quality, not to God. Man is spiritual. He is not God, spirit. If man were spirit, then men would be spirits, gods. Finite spirit would be mortal. And this is the error embodied in the belief that the infinite can be contained in the finite. This belief tends to becloud our apprehension of the kingdom of heaven and the reign of harmony in the science of being. Jesus taught but one God, one Spirit, who makes man in the image and likeness of himself, of spirit, not of matter. We must resolve to take up the cross and go forth with honest hearts to work and watch for wisdom, truth, and love. We must pray without ceasing. Such prayer is answered insofar as we put our desires into practice. The Master's injunction is that we pray in secret and let our lives attest our sincerity. Christians rejoice in secret beauty and bounty, hidden from the world, but known to God. Self-forgetfulness, purity, and affection are constant prayers. Practice, not profession. Understanding, not belief, gain the ear and right hand of omnipotence, and they assuredly call down infinite blessings. A great sacrifice of material things must precede this advanced spiritual understanding. The highest prayer is not one of faith merely, it is demonstration. Such prayer heals sickness and must destroy sin and death. It distinguishes between truth that is sinless and the falsity of sinful sense. Job said, I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye seeth thee. Mortals will echo Job's thoughts when the supposed pain and pleasure of matter cease to predominate. They will then drop the false estimate of life and happiness, of joy and sorrow, and obtain the bliss of loving unselfishly, working patiently, and conquering all that is unlike God. Starting from a higher standpoint, one rises spontaneously, even as light emits light without effort. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The foundation of mortal discord is a false sense of man's origin. To begin rightly is to end rightly. Every concept which seems to begin with the brain begins falsely. Divine mind is the only cause or principle of existence. Cause does not exist in matter, in mortal mind, or in physical forms. Christ presents the indestructible man whom Spirit creates, constitutes, and governs. The individuality of man is no less tangible because it's spiritual and because his life is not at the mercy of matter. The understanding of his spiritual individuality makes man more real, more formidable in truth, and enables him to conquer sin, disease, and death. The real man, being linked by science to his maker, mortals need only turn from sin and lose sight of mortal selfhood to find Christ, the real man, and his relation to God, and to recognize the divine sonship. We shall now have a few moments of silent prayer to be followed by the audible repetition of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Let us unite in singing hymn number 123. How firm a foundation, ye saints of the Lord, is laid for your faith in his excellent word. What more can he say than to you he has said, to you who to God for his refuge have fled? Hymn number 123. The members of this church extend a warm welcome to those in the congregation and to those who are visiting us on Zoom. His church is a branch of the Mother Church, the First Church of Christ Scientist in Boston, Massachusetts. The Bible lesson sermon read here and in Christian Science churches throughout the world on Sunday morning helps individuals to meet their needs with divine truth. Our Sunday services and Sunday school begin at 10 a.m. In our Sunday school, children and teenagers learn that God is love, a tangible help in their lives. In our reading room, a quiet sanctuary in this building, you may study, borrow, or purchase the Bible, the Christian Science textbook, the Christian Science Monitor, an international newspaper, and other Christian Science literature. The reading room is open for a half hour before each Wednesday evening service and a half hour following each Sunday service. On Sunday, March 5th, First Church Christ Scientist Fort Myers will be hosting a lecture, Finding Trust in a Changing World, given by Leslie Pitts, CS. It begins at 2:30 p.m. in Fort Myers. There's information about it on the bulletin board in the foyer. In preparation for our church's upcoming lecture, breaking news, freedom is ours now. The congregation is invited to attend an online lecture preparatory meeting on Monday, March 6th at 8 p.m. Our lecturer, Patricia Woodard, will attend. A Zoom link to the meeting will be sent to you the day of the meeting. Please plan to attend the preparatory meeting and the lecture itself. The lecture will be held on Sunday, March 26th at 2 p.m. in person in this church, as well as being streamed online on our church's website. This meeting is now open to you to share testimonies of healings and remarks on Christian Science. Please approach the microphone if you are here, and if visiting us on Zoom, remember to unmute yourself before speaking.